Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a season where it felt like God went silent on you? You used to be able to hear his voice loud and clear, guiding you through life's difficult situations and circumstances. But then all of a sudden, it was almost like when you prayed, you could not hear the voice anymore. It was almost as if heaven went silent on you. No thunder, no lightning, no prophetic dreams, just pure quiet. I'm talking about that kind of quiet that can make you doubt whether God is even listening. But here's the truth. Silence is not the absence of God. Sometimes it's his most personal invitation to us, right? We know that God is the author of all languages. We might speak one language or two languages if you're bilingual, 3, trilingual. But God is the author of all languages, verbal and non-verbal. So sometimes we might be listening, expecting that God would speak to us how we normally hear him speak. But even in the silence, God is speaking. When the noise of life fades, we expect God to speak loudly. But often, he whispers. And if you're not still enough, you'll miss it. Sometimes the silence is the blueprint. It's where instructions are buried inside peace. Strategy is written not in ink, but in stillness. Confirmation comes not from a crowd, but from deep within your spirit. God doesn't always answer in volume. He answers in alignment. I remember a time when I prayed hard for an answer, going through such a rough time in my life. I prayed. I even fasted. But it seemed as if the heavens went quiet on me when I needed a sign the most. All I got back was silence. But in that silence, here's what I began to realize. I began to realize that I need to pay attention to the natural principles. Things take time. Even in life, there is process, and process requires patience. I got to realize I need to exercise even more patience. I need to be trusting even of the process. And even above all, I got to realize that I must trust in divine timing. You cannot sow that seed and stand right there and tap your foot and say it has to grow right now and bear you fruit right now just because you hungry. It never works that way. Just because we are living in times where a majority of us want instant gratification, we want it the microwave way, but that is not how God works. And I had to learn that the hard way. I had to trust in his process for my life. We often say we're waiting on God, but maybe, just maybe, God is waiting on us to quiet the distractions, to stop begging for signs, to start trusting the blueprint we already received in the last season. What if your clarity isn't coming in a word, but in a walk? In the silence, things get clearer if we stop resisting it. There's no applause, no spotlight, no fireworks, just the voice that sounds like still water. The kind of voice that leads, not forces. I realized that what I was calling delay was actually divine stillness. You see, God has this very interesting way of preparing each and every one of us. You might be feeling in your mind like you are ready. Oh, Father, I am ready for my blessings. Father, you've seen how I've been fasting. I've been praying to you. I am ready. But God knows when we are ready. God is never late, and God was never late in my circumstance. He was settling me, grounding me, preparing me, teaching me, and giving me the inner qualities that I needed to be able to better manage what he was going to lay before me. And this too is the same for you. You always have to think a little bit more outside of the circumstance rather than identify with it. See all that comes from being fashioned in the fire, all that comes from going through the storm. Was it really meant to break you though? Was it really meant to shake you to your core and then break you? Or was it meant to strengthen you? So if you're in a quiet season right now, please don't run from it. Don't try to force your way out of it, but rather lean in, breathe deep, listen low. The blueprint is still active. Even in silence, God is still speaking. You're not being ignored. You're being prepared. Trust. Trust. I can't emphasize this enough. Trust in God. You gotta go through his schooling. You have to go through his preparation. If this spoke to you, take a moment to pause today, even just for 3 minutes of silence, and ask heaven, ask God, what are you saying that I've been too loud to hear, that I've been too busy, too occupied? Father, what are you really saying that I've been too busy to pay attention to? And be patient and trust that even in the silence, God is still speaking. More episodes are coming. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening all the way up until this point. I'm really hoping and trusting that you would leave with the knowing that you are not going through any season that is meant to set you back. But if only you can pay closer attention, you would still harvest the gems that are coming about from whatever situation and circumstance that you are facing. Follow us on Instagram at The Divine Blueprints Co. And remember, it's not noise that brings clarity. It's stillness. Be still. Lean in. Breathe deep. Listen low. And trust. Trust with your heart, your mind, your body, and soul. And know that on the other side, you're coming out stronger. You're coming out wiser. And you're coming out much more better. than you were before you even had to go through the storm. I love you. Stay blessed.